All right, good morning, everyone. I first want to say I want to thank the men and women who came here this morning to clean off this disaster that unknown people, came out here and desecrated the police memorial. 23 officers' names are etched into this wall. These are men who gave their lives on protecting the streets of this city. And the unfortunate thing is that we have people who do not respect that. I'm sure protecting the lives of family members of the individuals who did this to such an amazing monument. I will tell you, I don't think the people understand that the suspects who did this realize that this is a felony. I hope they understand that we are going to investigate this as a hate crime under the city's new enhanced hate crime ordinance. We have to. I can tell you right now, the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department are devastated. They're hurt. Can you just imagine getting up this morning, coming to work in a very good mood, and you come and you see this right in front of the police building? This is ridiculous. This is going to be. I have zero tolerance for this. I can assure you that whoever's responsible for this will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is a cowardly act. Instead of sitting down and let's try to bridge the gap between groups that may believe that law enforcement doesn't have their best interests in heart, you come out in the cover of darkness and you desecrate a memorial that honors these officers that died protecting the city of harm. And I'll say this again, they may have protected the lives of some of these individuals who took it upon themselves to do this. Why not try to bridge the gap? Why not sit down and talk about how we can make things better? You want to talk about reform? That's part of reforming, sitting down, finding out what your concerns are, and let's see what we're doing. I think you would be very surprised if you understood what the Little Rock Police Department is doing in our efforts to bridge the gap and become more involved in the community, whether that's on duty or off duty. And if I sound upset, I am. I'm hurt. I'm very emotional right now because to me, as a 32-year law enforcement professional, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And as a member of the Honor Guard, as a member of a chief that has had to go and inform someone that their loved one was killed in the line of duty, as a chief that has been to Washington and watched someone's name etched into the wall of the police memorial, and to come here and see such a beautiful memorial here that's been desecrated, it's upsetting. But I always say, when they go low, we'll stay high. And I can guarantee you the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department are going to stay high. But I'll tell you this, it doesn't mean that we're not disappointed, we're not hurt, we're not upset. And I will tell you right now, in a few days, you will see that we've got zero tolerance for any type of desecration of any type of monument, any type of property. We would take this just as serious if this was someone's house. People don't have a right to vandalize anyone's property. And you definitely don't have the right to vandalize something that memorializes officers who gave their lives protecting the streets of this city. And so I take questions at this time.
Do you have a timeline of when you guys think this may have happened?
We know that it happened early morning, sometimes after midnight. I would feel safe to say sometime between midnight and 3 a.m.
And the prosecutor's office was also charged with graffiti as well. Have you had a chance to talk to Larry Gately about it?
I have not. I know that from what I gather, he's just as upset as I am. His people are upset. I believe there was another facility that was also sprayed municipal court. Spoke with the mayor this morning. The mayor is very upset, very disappointed. And he wants people to know that, he wants the officers to know that he appreciates everything they do and that he's hurting just like the officers are. So I wanted to share that with the officers. Any other questions?
Have you guys had a chance to look at surveillance footage? Obviously there's cameras out here. I mean, was this one person? Do you think there's multiple people involved?
We don't know yet. We are currently looking at video. I think there's video at all the facilities, and so we're going to look. And I think, as you know, I want to extend, I'm sorry to North Little Rock. I understand that they experienced the same thing. Maybe not to their memorial, but there was some property that was damaged. And that's just this seems to be becoming a routine, and it's getting old. It's getting old.
What do you want to say to the Vandals?
That if you're not going to be part of the solution, then don't be the problem. This doesn't send the right message here in the city of Little Rock. This sends a message that, number one, you're a coward. Number two, you don't want reform. Number three, you don't understand the difference between defunding and reform. There's a big difference. You don't know what's going on in your police department. And so I would ask them to take the time to understand what we're doing here in the Little Rock Police Department, what we're doing in the city to ensure that we have a positive relationship with our community, all of our communities. It is just, this is, as I said earlier, I'm extremely emotional about this. There are just no words. I mean, it's taken me a while to think about what I wanted to say, because as the chief, the main thing you don't want to do is you don't want to say anything that's inappropriate. I won't say anything that's inappropriate, but what I will say, this is that we won't tolerate this. We will not tolerate this. And once again, I want to thank the young man and young women and the people that came out here this morning to help clean this. From what I gather, I believe there's some members of the FOP out here too. So I want to recognize them for coming out, helping clean up this this mess.
Hate crime designation. What is the protected class that this sort of act would fall under?
This falls under a section that talks about public buildings, monuments, and things. As you know, there's really not a state hate crime statute. So we developed one in the ordinance. And so there's a part in there that specifically talks about property of governmental property being damaged. And it makes it a hate crime based on city ordinance. Under state law, under state law, it's a felony. And so we will definitely be pursuing felony charges against these individuals.
You're talking about reaching out, trying to be part of the solution. What in the last few weeks has LRPD done in their life?
It's not just what we've done the last few weeks, it's what we do every day. Every day the officers are out here. We have stories, we get emails thanking us about the things that the officers have done. We had an officer the other day that went in and changed the diaper of a baby. He didn't have to do that. It was a situation where they were waiting for someone to come and take a baby. He treated this baby as it was his own. And the thing about it is, this doesn't matter. Let me just clarify this. This doesn't matter at all. But it was a white officer and an African-American baby. It doesn't matter. But I wanted to say, I think it's important that people see that the officers of this city, these officers in this city care. I mean, changing tires, going to community meetings, and that's why I say it's unfair to say the last 2 weeks, because every day they're doing something. It's something community oriented. We food pantry, you know, we feed people. Officers feed people out of their own pockets. Not only do they do that, officers to give people rides to work, change tires. They go to different community meetings. That's what we're all about, and I just wish, but at the same time, we probably don't do a really good job of putting that out there, because we realize that's part of our job, so we don't want to seem as though we're bragging. But at the end of the day, if you're good at it, you're not bragging, you're just telling your story, and maybe we do need to get that out there more, because these officers are doing a lot. It would embarrass them if I call names, and I won't do that, but they're doing a lot. So on a daily basis, so many things that we can't even just say, well, one. I can't even think of just one. We could be here all day, and I can tell you the different things that they're doing.
I mean, you're talking about reform, though, and that's clearly what all the protests are about. And is there anything in particular y'all have discussed or worked on since all of this unrest?
Well, if you think about it, you know, we've got the Citizens Police Review Board. We also, you know, we duty to intervene. You know, the mayor put the ordinance in regarding banning chokeholds. We have reviewed all of our policies. We just passed accreditation. We were reaccredited. That's a big step. Our whole new geographical accountability means excellence platform that we're doing in the police department has basically provided, has come in, and we have reduced the size of our police divisions, and over each one of those in those divisions, there's a sector, and we have a police lieutenant over those sectors. So case in point, if you have a problem, what we're doing is we've got a face and a name that a citizen who lives in that area can immediately contact, and we can start the ball rolling on on problem solving. So we're big. We're getting bigger on our problem solving better. We've got the right training, racial intelligence training and engagement. All of the officers are going through that. We're always talking about how do we enhance our cultural diversity training. We look at our training on a regular basis to see how we can improve that. We have roundtable discussions in the Chiefs Conference with not just the command staff, but also citizens. Our command staff meets twice a week to discuss issues. So what I wanted to share with you, it's an ongoing process here. It's not just things that we've done since the George Floyd incident. We have been doing things like that here for years. That's one of the things that made this job attractive to me, that the foundation was here in the Little Rock Police Department before I got here in order to bridge the gap between us and the police department and the community. And the mayor and I talk on a regular basis, letting him know what we're doing. If we mess up, we mess up. As a chief of police, I have to admit when we make a mistake. But at the same time, we do more positive things than we do negatives. And I'll stand on top of anything for that.
What do you think it's going to take to break this cycle of vandalism that seems to keep getting worse and worse?
I think it's going to take people standing up, identifying those individuals. I think it's going to take people in our community standing up saying, not in our community. I think it's going to take me engaging individuals who might not have had a positive relationship with police. I think it's going to take that. I think it's going to a continued effort that we're doing here in Little Rock, having officers go to community meetings. Even though we've got the pandemic, we've never stopped our encounters or our contacts with people, through Zoom, or even if we have to minimize the number of people. So I think it's just an ongoing, everyday deal that we're going to have to do. It's not just one thing, it's multiple things.
You see this vandalism, you see this person who drove by and yelled obscenity and this group. Are your officers facing more encounters like that, negative encounters, as of late, or anecdotal?
I think it just depends. I think it depends on where they are. But I think we get more positive things than we do negative. People that just pass by, you have to ignore them. That's his right to do that. At some point, when people do that, it gets old and people tune them out. And so I think we've done a really good job of tuning individuals like that out and continue to do our work, because no matter what people say, we're still going to do our work. So yes, we're seeing that, but we're seeing it from the same individuals. We're not seeing a lot of different individuals doing it. We're seeing it from the same individuals who don't have a life, individuals who want to be important, and so the only way they can do that is find a target, and we seem to be the target of the day.
Last question, anybody?
Okay, thank you all. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Chief.
All right.